Hello, I'm Game Retainer, and in this video I'll be going over a handful of hidden stash locations, secret loot piles, and a few hidden rooms in POIs. I made a video not long ago covering a few stash locations, and I'll put a link at the top of the screen. Just like with the previous video, I am basing this video on the Navezgane map, so I'll put coordinates on this side of the screen for each entry. That said, you will find most, if not all, of the POIs on this list across most maps. Now with that out of the way, let's dive straight in. First up, we have Taza's Burial Ground. This one's been in the game for a very long time. It's a tier 0 POI and, well, it's a burial ground. There is a hidden loot stash right underneath the main monument, so you will need to dig down to get it. However, there is a very small chance that you'll find Taza's stone axe inside this box. Now, Taza's stone axe isn't really that good, in fact it's just marginally better than the stone axe, but because it is hyper rare, if you can get it, awesome. One last thing, while you are here, make sure that you dig underneath each of the stones because there are graves, and you may get some extra rotten flesh, or if you're lucky, a few gems if you've read the right books. The Navezgane High School is a tier 4 POI. It's a pretty fun one to clear, although it can be quite tricky early on, and it does have a hidden stash that's pretty easy to miss. The main loot can be found inside the gym, but if you want to find the hidden stash, then you'll find it on the roof. If you're clearing the POI as the developers intend, then make your way to the library and make sure you clear it because there are plenty of books. Then follow the path around and head up to the roof. Once you've reached the top of the ladder, turn left, and on the very top of this vent, you can break this block and there's a hidden loot stash. Next is a POI that I think everybody knows, and that's Bob's Balls and Carl's Corn. Now, I'm not going to show the super corn recipe location, but I will put a link to a video in the top of the screen. What I am going to show is a couple of hidden loot locations that are pretty easy to miss in this one. The first is in this room here with all the dead corn. Make your way inside, turn around and jump up here, and you'll see right at the end, there's a little weapons bag. The next place is down in the basement. Make your way past the greenhouse where some extra super corn is, and behind this here you'll find a little box. While it's not a secret stash, it's still very easy to miss, so it's worth mentioning. The Fermier Residence is the one that I'm most excited to show off. It's a tier 2 POI, and I've cleared this one God knows how many times, and only recently found out that it has a whole secret room inside. Also, it's worth a quick mention that if you are trying to complete the farming challenges, then you'll find some potatoes up here, which is quite nice. If you make your way to the back where the kitchen is and into the living room, you'll see this bookcase here, and behind it there's a door. You've got to break these bookcases, and as you can see, there is a reinforced door here. Now on the other side of the door, there is a little bunker that is big enough for one. It's not big, but I have spent thousands of hours in 7 days, and I've not come across this one. It was hiding in plain sight, and this is really awesome. With a bit of work, the Fermier Residence can actually make for a pretty good base, and now that I know there's a bunker inside there, I'm going to use this one in the future because that's a really cool place to hide out. One last thing with this one that's worth noting is if you make your way round next to the garage, you'll see this little building here, and inside you'll see 2 crates. The Frontiersman is one of the tier 0 western POIs that you'll most often find in the desert. Since it's a tier 0, there's not a lot to this one at all, but there is some loot that's easy to miss. If you make your way into this room here and then into the back corner, underneath this log pile, you'll see a backpack. I know, not very exciting, but I just thought I'd point it out anyway. What is pretty cool is if you make your way up onto the chimney here, you'll find an ammo crate. Right next door to the previous entry, we have the Clutter Chest. This is another tier 0 POI, and it really doesn't look like much at all. But it has a little secret area with a hidden stash. You will need to do some digging in order to get it, but make sure that you clear a path just to the other side of the door. Once you've done that, dig directly down and you'll come out into a hidden room with a hidden stash. Moving on to a POI that I really don't like. This is the Shotgun Messiah Factory. It's a tier 5 POI, and in my opinion, it's one of the more difficult endgame POIs to navigate. There are a few hidden stashes inside this one, but I'm just going to show off 2 because one's in a pretty cool location and the other one is hiding in plain sight. To find the first one, you'll want to be right next to the SMS smelt room and the medical bay. To the right of the medical bay, you'll see this wall here, and behind it, as you can see, is a stash. Thankfully, the bars can be broken down with a single hit, so you can break these, hop in, and grab the stash. But there's a much cooler hidden stash located right on the bottom floor. Follow the torch here across the bridge, and if you go behind here, you'll come across a hatch. Go through the hatch, and you'll come into this little underground area. Now you will need to just make your way around. It's one path, so it's very difficult to get lost in here, and you'll come across a hidden stash. Once you've grabbed the main stash, if you carry on following the path around, then you'll come out to this water here, and you can swim down, and you'll come back out into the central area of the building. Moving on, we've got Passing Gas Store 5. This is a tier 4 POI, and it's a pretty fun one to clear, in my opinion. There's quite a lot of good loot scattered around this place. If you come here with a wrench, there's lots of stuff to break down. You'll also find things like saves and a few containers in here that you can grab as you make your way through. As you make your way up to the office, there's plenty of plastic in the blinds and more stuff to break down with a wrench. The main loot is located on the roof, and if you did just want to nerd pole up the side and grab it, you could, but you will trigger a handful of enemies. But if you follow the natural path of the POI, you'll come up onto this roof and you'll see these panels here. Break down these panels. Once you've done that, you'll come out into a room that seemingly doesn't have a lot other than one loot bag here. But you want to follow it on, watch out for the floor because it does break as you walk across it, and head over to this here. Break this panel, and as you can see, there's a hidden stash. Now every single one of these panels will break away when you stand on them, with the exception of the middle one there. So hop onto the middle one, and then you can open the stash. Finishing off this video, we have the Nairn Residence, I'll put the name on the screen so you can read it, but it's that one. It's a tier 2 POI, and it has a hidden room that is very easy to miss. Side note, this one is actually a pretty nice house, so if you want a place to live, this is not a bad one to call home. The first thing I want to point out with this one is if you make your way up to the attic and follow the path all the way around, there is a little bit of hidden loot here, but that's not why this one's on the list. Make your way up this ramp here and follow the lights. When you come out to this opening, it's easy to think that you should just drop down and there's nothing else up here, but that's not actually the case. There's a hidden panel behind these here. Once you've broken the panel, you may think that that's it and then you just jump down, but there's a whole room right behind this panel here. When you get close up, you can kind of see that there's a faux wall here, and on the other side, as you can see, it looks like somebody was living here. It's very small, as you can see, but it is pretty cool, and in the corner, you can see a hidden stash. Now, you won't actually be able to reach it, because there's a wall in the way. But if you head back out onto the beam and break this block here, then you'll be able to grab the stash relatively easily. So thank you very much for watching, I hope you found this video interesting. If there are any other hidden locations or little secrets that you've come across that you'd like to share, then let me know down below. Thanks again for watching, and hopefully I'll catch you in the next one.